Hi, welcome to another coordination interpretation video using the syncopation book. Our subject today is linear sixteenths, part 1. You can actually make these simple written syncopations into some pretty exotic and cool sounding funk type rhythms. Linear drumming, of course, being kind of breaking up the flow amongst all the limbs rather than one limb carrying the load and other limbs playing against it. So it's a good way to get some ideas for that style. Taking the page, we have the first 4 measures written out. Okay, check out the first measure. It's 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Sixteenths are your underflow, the undertone as I call it, the undertone. And you kind of look at each rhythm in the measure and you approach it with a move. The quarter notes on or off the beat, we're going to use that 4-part move. 4 16th notes is a quarter note. It could be on the off beat, like and a 2E, or on the beat, 1E and a. The 8th notes are simply right hand, left hand. So the first measure, the right hand is assigned the melody. 1E and 3, 4. 1 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 and 3. Separating that right away, you can see some interesting possibilities. It's also cool on one surface. 1 and. Like I said, be sure you check the variations. There are a lot of cool possibilities within this style. We'll talk about that more at length in other videos. So that's the first rhythm. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a. I like the bass drum. It's not on the beat at all. It's on the does and the e's, which make it pretty funky. The next rhythm, you have a quarter note and an 8th note rest. That's 6 total 16th notes. And check out how we treat it. Right, left, left, and then just hand to hand until the next accent. That's our movement of 6. There are others, but this is our movement for today. So the second measure would be 1E and a 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and. I like the right hand has some notes that are not in the melody, in the spaces. Here's that one separated. 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and. Fairly interesting, pretty cool, really. The third measure, 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1. Eventually you can play through the whole page, which I'll show you, and you get used to the movements and you can pretty much chatter away all day using this technique. The fourth measure has a lot of space. You hit the 3, but then you have that quarter note rest to deal with, so it's a lot of notes, but you kind of maintain it just with a kind of a hand-to-hand kind of flow. You'll see. 1 and 3, 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 1 and 3. Okay, that's the 4 rhythms from the first line. On the exercise, I gave you another one. I gave you the Clave pattern at the bottom there, because that shows an example of a rhythm with a lot of space. You have 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E. That's a lot of notes to deal with. You have dotted quarter notes, which are 6 16th notes. Then you have that quarter note plus a quarter note rest. That'll be 8 16th notes. You have a regular quarter note. That's 4 16ths. So you have a lot of possibilities here. So here's Clave pattern a la linear. 1 and 4, 2, 3. 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 That's a good one, obviously. All these syncopation ideas are good because you can, as I always say, you can add a quarter note here or there to a measure and play in 5/4, subtract quarter notes or whatever. For instance, taking the first measure of the Clave, adding another quarter note to it, you have 5/4. 1 and 4, 5. 1 and 4, 5. 1 and 4, 5. You know, a lot of possibilities with that. So here's the first line of syncopation now. Taking it slow. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 3. Little mess up there. Again, 1 and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 3. 1 and 3, more, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 3. 1 separated. 1 and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 3. 1 and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 3. Again, 1 and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 3. Interesting way of playing. Rather than memorizing one measure of a beat, you can play this way in a more interactive style. Okay, here's a couple lines. First 3 lines. 3E and a 4E and a 1E and try to play along. 1, 2. Keep the melody in your head. 2, 3 and 1 and 3. 1 and 3 and 1, 2 and 4 and 3, 4 and 3. 1, 2 and 3 and 1 and. The third line's good because there's a lot of space. Here's just the third line. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1 and again 1, 2 and 3 and 1 and third line separated. 1, 2 and 3 and 1 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1 and Let's try a little tempo here. Try 88. I'll play down the page. See if you can play along, or at least keep the melody in your head. 3E and a 4, 1E and a 2. Four. 5. A lot of space. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 102. This time I'll play some on the hi-hat. It's great practice to always sync horizontally. I think it's a good way to play some funk too. Rather than a static kind of, albeit funky beat, it's cool to be able to be interactive, I think. This is kind of a jazzy way of playing funk. Check out a lot of Mike Clark's things, especially his album that he's on called Thrust. Really excellent linear kind of playing. 1E and a 2. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 'Good for funky stuff, good for soloing. So I crank up a little bit more here. Here's 120 on just a snare drum. 1, 2. 2. 3. 4. Excellent for breaking up around the drum set. Like here's just the first two measures played groove style, but with that background. A lot of possibilities. Be sure you check out, there are quite a few parts to this linear 16 stuff, and each part also has some variations. There are a lot of variations to this idea that we'll talk about on that video of adding different accents and colors and stuff to it. That's a good basic introduction to the whole linear system. Plus the fact you can play horizontally, I think is very, very important. You know, think horizontally. Like a jazz musician always thinks horizontally. Which is what a good melody is. You know, a good melody always goes in a nice horizontal way. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next time with some more linear 16ths.